All right, good night, everybody. I'm What You Need. You're watching my channel. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget you can like, share, subscribe, and you can also donate via PayPal. The link is in the chat section as well. It's also in the description. If you want to come on here as a guest, the link is also in the chat section. Okay. All you got to do is look for the StreamYard link in the chat section, and you should be all right with that. We're going to get into a quick breakdown and analysis of Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia tonight. That's right, y'all. It's a quick breakdown and analysis of Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're into. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it right now. First of all, Ryan Garcia has pulled off what many would consider the upset of the year. All right. He did a great job in basically stunning everybody, including Devin Haney, and pulling off the upset of the year. And it was a fantastic performance. It was surprising to a lot of people, not to me, but it was surprising to a lot of people that he pulled off that win um, against Devin Haney. And we're going to go into the breakdown, the quick analysis of why this happened. So we'll go into that. And you guys feel free to leave your comments in the chat section, as well as feel free to also come on here and chop it up with me if you think that what I'm saying is something that you want to add something to, etc. Right? Okay, so what we're going to be talking about right now is how did Ryan Garcia pull this off? What were the pluses of what Ryan Garcia was doing, what he wasn't doing? What were the pluses of what Devin Haney did, and what the minuses of what Devin Haney did? And we're also going to compare what happened with Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, and some of the things that Tank did that Devin didn't do. Of course, they had different approaches to Ryan Garcia there, and some of the things that also Devin did that Tank didn't do. All right, so first of all, let's talk about Ryan Garcia. So Ryan Garcia actually baited Devin Haney into being very eager to try to shut him up, into trying to crash him and trying to beat him up. Okay. Devin Haney has been, over the last couple of fights, fighting very offensively, very aggressively. And so this fight was no different. He's fighting on the front foot. Ryan Garcia was fighting on the back foot. But Ryan Garcia did get under Devin Haney's skin, and under Bill Haney's skin came Bernard Hopkins. And because of that, Devin Haney and Bill's game plan to punish Ryan Garcia backfired. I believe it was in a stream that I was having. One of my subscribers said, I forgot his name right now, but one of my subscribers said this reminded him of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran, the first fight. And he said it reminded him of that because Roberto Duran was able to get into Sugar Ray Leonard's head. And true to form, that's what kind of happened here. What happened here is that Ryan Garcia was able to get into Devin Haney head, most importantly, Devin Haney's head, but also Bernard Hopkins was able to get into Bill Haney's head a bit and literally alter the way how Devin Haney was supposed to fight Ryan Garcia. And it really didn't happen in the early part of the fight. It actually happened in the latter part of the fight, which is why Ryan Garcia had the success he had in the latter part of the fight. So Ryan Garcia was portraying himself as mentally unstable and all these kinds of things. And he was really acting, and he revealed his whole game plan to Jim Lampley. And I already spoke to you guys about that game plan, the Mayweather green print, I called it, in one of my earlier streams. And we elaborated on that quite in detail, quite a bit. But, the question I had was, did Ryan Garcia quit in his fight against Tank? And he did. But I was wondering if Devin Haney would be able to put that kind of pressure on him to bring him to the point where he would quit. The thing I didn't factor into the equation was that Ryan Garcia had gotten into Devin Haney's psyche. He had gotten into Bill's psyche. He had pressed the button, and he was able to. And you saw him discussing it with Oscar De La Hoya. You understood what the game plan is. It all unraveled to everybody that Ryan was taunting and jeering Devin Haney and Bill Haney, and he was going into their religion. He was doing anything to annoy them, irritate them, so that they would come after him to the extent to which they would be so eager to fight him, which is what Floyd Mayweather blueprint, obviously, that they would sort of abandon certain things, that the measured approach or the careful approach that they have to fighting fighters, they would throw that out the window and just bang. And the first time Ryan Garcia dropped Devin Haney, when Devin Haney got up, that was in the 7th round. Devin Haney for 6 rounds straight was using the jab. Devin Haney abandoned the jab, and he thought he could land right hands and leaping left hooks on Ryan Garcia because he had hurt Ryan Garcia in the 2nd round with a left hook. And Ryan Garcia banged his gloves together because he had gotten hurt. And Devin Haney decided to start throwing a whole bunch of leaping left hooks and big right hand counters. And he was telegraphing so heavily that Ryan could easily see it and go into defensive mode. And Devin did this so much in the latter half of the fight, trying to stop Ryan Garcia, probably trying to knock him out. And I've seen Devin do this before in a fight against what was the guy's name? A guy from, I think he was from Dominican Republic. I can look him up. But he started doing this so much, he became a bit predictable. And Ryan was able to now measure him. And that's how Ryan was able to launch those quick assaults. Now, the 3rd knockdown was very interesting because Ryan caught him with some short shots on the inside as Devin was in no man's land. Devin was pretty much the same place he was with Jorge Linares. He was within range in the pocket. He was out of position. And the reason he was out of position in the pocket was because he wasn't popping his jab. Devin was trying to infight Ryan, but Ryan was locking him up. So he was preventing him from doing any work on the inside. They get like a shot or 2 inside, and that was it. When Ryan was doing that weird shell defense thingy, I don't know what the hell he was, Devin was smart enough to beat him on the spleen area. So he would just punch the spleen area. And I'm going to tell you this. I'll tell you guys this right now. Devin was hurting Ryan to the body. I believe it's the same 7th round when Devin came out. So Ryan had won round 1, as we all know, because he stunned Devin in round 1. The power was real. Ryan had done something else that was really sensible, which is instead of losing weight and trying to kill himself to lose weight, he realized he was no longer a junior welterweight. He was now a welterweight. So instead of killing himself to lose the weight, he stopped at 143, took the fines, and he blew up to probably 10 to 15 pounds bigger than Devin. Because if you look at Ryan was much bigger, more well filled out than Devin was. So he had more mass, and when you have more mass, you have more power, especially if you're a power puncher. So basically, what you were looking at was a junior welterweight fighting a welterweight, okay, and a big welterweight at that. So it wasn't that Devin was chinny. It wasn't that Devin can't punch, because he did hurt Ryan. It's that you're looking at two guys in two different weight classes fighting each other, right? Ryan said he could go up to 154 and fight Fundora next. So that should tell you everything you need to know. So Ryan's huge. And he was huge in that fight. And because of that, he was a bit sluggish. So he lost some of his speed. He was tired at certain points in the fight, but he had enough time and he boxed really well enough at least. Devin had, I think, the greater skill of the two. But I think that Ryan had the size and power. So that's what you saw. And that's why Ryan's power was much bigger. Again, very smart, if you ask me. And Devin indulged him to fight the fight like that. So kudos to him on that. We have somebody coming up in here named Nerd. And Nerd says, Cap Haney was 165 versus Loma fight night. So we got some hate we got another person hating on Devin Haney, who fought a hell of a fight. And, you know, it's interesting. When a fighter loses a fight, everybody went in on Ryan when he lost to Tank. And now they're going in on Devin Haney when he lost to Ryan. It is what it is. This is boxing. I love both fighters. Of course, I love Devin Haney. I'm not going to change because he lost. And he fought a hell of a fight. It was a close fight. It reminds me of Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran. But back to Ryan Garcia. We're talking about Ryan, what he did right, and then we're going to talk about what he did wrong. So Ryan Garcia in this fight, he fought a sufficient fight to win. You know, he had the size advantage. He had the mental edge on Devin and Bill. And he also had one more thing at his advantage, and that's why he was carrying all these weight training. He had strength trained, so he built enough strength to absorb the punches that Devin could throw. So it's really good to see that Ryan, that preparation for Devin Haney. We got a troll up in here. I'm going to indulge this troll for a minute. But so the Nerd says, so speaking facts is hate, apparently. So you're saying that a fact is that Cap Haney was 165 versus Loma fight night. So for some reason, Cap Haney is the guy's name. That's factual. I mean, help me here. You're already coming from a area of hate and jealousy and anger by calling somebody Cap Haney. You know what I mean? But that's a fact. He's called Cap Haney. He's a cap artist, right? See, y'all reveal yourself so easily, though. Like, you come in here with your hate and your toxicity, and you want me to endorse that, right? If you're not a Haney fan and you hate Devin Haney, so be it. Okay? But you're not going to take away what the guy did that night. And he fought a hell of a fight that night against Ryan Garcia. And he indulged Ryan, even though Ryan was not a junior welterweight going into that ring. Meaning, he didn't even weigh in as a junior welterweight on the scales. All right? So it shows me that so-called Cap Haney is a much better fighter and a much better warrior and a much better person for not making no excuses, stepping into the ring with a guy who's failed to make weight on the scales and still indulges him, still has to fight with him. It reminds me of Jose Luis Castillo versus Diego Corrales, when Jose Luis Castillo went way overweight on the scale. Ryan went way overweight. You're not supposed to be 3 pounds heavier. He should have been DQ. He should never have gotten that fight. But Devin Haney showing the kind of person he is and character. But you come up here and you say Cap Haney, and you're telling me, you're saying you coming from facts because you're saying he was bigger than Loma, which, by the way, nobody knows that Devin Haney came in 165 pounds against Loma. He came in 165 against Regis Prograis at 140. From what I know, the facts that I know, Devin Haney didn't come in more than 156 pounds against nobody at lightweight because he couldn't balloon up to that weight. But at junior lightweight, at junior welterweight, he could do that. So you say you're speaking facts. You have no source. You make up stuff. And then you say you're not coming from a place of hate. See, I'm not a fanboy like y'all. I'm not a fanboy. I like fighters. I'm going to say certain things because when fighters are, I'm going to give you an example of why I'm not a fanboy. Mr. Devin Haney said, Ryan Garcia is a C-class fighter. Well, now you got to eat your words. Now you got to eat your words. You just got beaten by a C-class fighter. Right? Right? So I'm not a fanboy like you. I don't have a Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, as a fighter. I don't kiss and suck nobody's ass or dick. I don't dick ride like you guys. I'm here to talk boxing. If you're not here to talk boxing, but you're here to dick ride and to hate on people, leave. Seraphim Guardian says, Devin Haney said it was a close fight. It was a close fight. Go score it, and you'll see for yourself. All right? Seraphim Guardian says it was not a close fight. It was a close fight. Score it for yourself. Would you like a breakdown? Do you know how to score fights? Round 1, Ryan Garcia. Round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Devin Haney. Round 7, Ryan Garcia. Big round for Ryan. Drops Devin Haney. Round 8, Devin Haney. Round 9, I see it's a Devin Haney round, but I gave it to Ryan Garcia. Round 10, Ryan Garcia drops Haney again. Round 11, Ryan Garcia drops Haney again. Round 12, Devin Haney. Score it up. Ryan Garcia was penalized in round 7 for hitting Devin Haney on the break. When you add up the scores, you will get 112-112. It was a draw. It was a very close fight, even with the knockdowns included. But I understand why the judges would give Ryan Garcia the fight, because Ryan Garcia, not only his showmanship, but the fact that he dropped Devin Haney 3 times leans to his favor in terms of effectiveness. Okay? But it was a close fight by points. Okay? Now, I gave you a very detailed answer. Please do not double down and say stupidness on here. Okay? Go watch the fight for yourself. I went and watched it again. I watched it twice. I watched it the first time live, and then I watched it the second time afterwards. So please, when you choose to respond intelligently. We're trying to be reasonable, logical, and intelligent on this stream. If you're going to continue with your idiocy, go somewhere else. You're not welcome here. Leave. Don't go. If you have to be stupid here, right? You just have to ignore facts, ignore how to assess boxing. Just leave. Don't stay. I like to talk with people who are reasonable. If you're not going to be reasonable and you're going to be a fool, go somewhere else. $112 is a complete robbery. Like I said, you are welcome to leave. You don't have to stay here. Chris Mannix and Max DeLuca scored it the same way I just scored it. And it's logic. Unless you have not scored the fight, which you probably have not, you would say foolishness. Okay? I don't have time for fanboys and idiots. Okay? I don't have time for that. You're annoying. Leave. I'm here to educate people on boxing. I'm not here to be a fanboy. Nerd said, Haney did to win the 2 or 12th round. I don't even know what you're saying. You're so incoherent. And I'm not interested. I like having conversations with people. I don't like having reality checks. What is reality and what is not reality? This is a boxing channel that is here to educate people on boxing. That's why it's called What You Need. If you don't want to be educated on boxing, you want to be an asshole, go somewhere else. Seraphim Guardian says, I watched the fight, but I guess you meant Buddy, buddy. You can't even spell. And everyone was completely at odds at the 112 judge. Everyone who didn't score the fucking fight, you dumbass. Now you're really getting me angry. Score the fucking fight and then talk. I am disagreeing, but I am not being disrespectful. Shut the fuck up. Because you're just annoying to me. I'm disrespecting you because you're stonewalling. You haven't scored anything. I'm an idiot for disagreeing. No, you're an idiot because you're talking out of no knowledge whatsoever. You haven't scored the fucking fight, but you're talking about, I'm disagreeing. You're disagreeing because you're an ass. You're an ass. There's no other way to get around it. You're an asshole. Score the fight first, give me a scorecard, and then you can talk. Devin Haney, definitely round 2, 3, and 4. Go score the fight first, and then give me the scorecard. Score the fight first, then give me the scorecard. You haven't scored the fight. You're just talking because Ryan knocked down Devin Haney 3 times. Score the fucking fight first, and then come back to me and tell me your scorecard. You guys are so fucking annoying. It's called autocorrect, buddy. You're an asshole. Lol. Nah, bro, I'm disagreeing because I'm an ass. You're an ass. There really are assholes out here, and you're one. Okay, back to what I was saying. So, Ryan Garcia's strategy was very effective, okay, in this fight. And that's the interesting thing about it, that he was able to come in heavier, which increases chances to absorb punishment as well as to dish out more power. And his strategy was to go Devin Haney into being aggressive, coming at him so he could get his combinations off to stop him or to hurt him. Now, Ryan had predicted the fight would end in 2 rounds. That didn't happen. His major weapon was the left hook. He used it effectively, given the situation that he had. He wasn't in the best shape. These are the caveats. Because he put on that extra weight, he was fatigued a lot more. But with that extra weight, he could be able to absorb the punches better. So that was really good. Now, one more thing that I really was very happy about. And let me just say, I was pleasantly surprised to see him win. I was very happy. As you guys know, you saw me, that we had a good fight and both fighters represented themselves well. So I'm very pleased with this fight, and I'm very happy for Ryan. I empathize with Devin Haney on the loss, but I'm also happy for Devin because Devin showed a lot as well. And what I was saying is, losing and winning happens in boxing. You're not going to have a Floyd Mayweather every day. You have to take the best. You have to face the best. You have to face the best fighters you can. So you're not going to be able to. Jimmy Morales says, salute straight out of PR. Remember, I told you Ryan was going to drop Haney with the left hook. Oh, you did? And I said I didn't disagree with you. I don't think I disagreed with you. I thought that Devin was going to go through difficulty. You know, Jimmy Morales. I thought he was going to go through difficulty. I think I had a discussion with somebody else, and we thought that was going to happen. He was going to have some adversity. But what's very interesting is, instead of us seeing Ryan walking down Dev, we saw Dev walking down Ryan for almost all 12 rounds. And I thought that was really interesting, you know. But that was the game plan. Brilliant. See what we got here. Seraphin Guardian says that's still Ryan, only weapon still. Why couldn't Dev adjust? I think Loma didn't have the power to hurt Haney enough. So we'll talk about that a little later on. That's a good question, and I'll tell you, he did adjust to it, but he didn't abandon what he was doing. So he did make an adaptation. He did make an adjustment. He made it in the first round, actually, if you were paying attention. But I'll tell you. I'll tell you so you'll know. So anyway, these were the pluses of Ryan. Now, here are the minuses of Ryan. Ryan depends on a fighter not countering in between his shots, not getting under his shots while he's throwing his combinations and countering him. Tank was able to time Ryan and get him, and this is where Tank is different to Devin. Tank was able to come up underneath Ryan's shots and catch him with a counter left hook while he was throwing his hooks and stuff. So Ryan Garcia, he hurt Tank as well. If you do remember, in the first round and in the second round, he hurt Tank. But Ryan in this fight looked, more composed in this fight, even though still when he throws his combinations, they're wild. They're wild combinations. And he really throws a lot, and he keeps throwing. And he's hoping to overwhelm you with his shots. The amount of shots, his uppercuts, his right hooks, his left hooks, his left hooks, his left hooks. He likes to double up, triple up the left hook. In fact, in the first knockdown, he threw like about 4 or 5 left hooks at Devin Haney. And Devin Haney blocked most of them, got underneath the right shots, underneath the jabs. And he came up in no man's land, and he did not protect his guard. So Ryan was able to catch him. But Devin Haney was completely on the defensive. He was not trying to counter in between those shots. Whereas Tank is a much more calculated fighter who once he got hurt by Ryan, he realized that he needed to stay away from that power. And Devin didn't do that. Devin instead decided he was going to dip underneath and dip underneath and dip underneath and pivot and dip underneath and dip underneath these shots. And he didn't realize where he was, because what do you learn? I don't know if you guys know this, but what do you learn about boxing? What do you learn about boxing in terms of shot selection, in terms of defense and offense? Do you guys know? Anybody in the chat? And if you guys want to hop on here and talk person to person, that's okay as well. The link is in the top of the chat. But do you guys know what you begin and end? You begin and end every single offensive maneuver with? Do you know? Or should I say, when you go to throw a combination, what do you begin and end that combination with, generally speaking? Do you know? Let me go back to this question. All right, so I'm going to tell y'all, and it has to do. This is just a fact. I'm not only going to tell you, I'm going to demonstrate it. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it. So hold on a second. Oh, I'm going to demonstrate it. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Okay. This is something you have to learn, okay? I'm in a crouch position. This is my hand here, all right? If you're throwing any combination, I'm going to do it from the orthodox stance, right? I'm going to throw a combination. What's the basic combination that we're supposed to throw? It's a jab, right hand, left hook, right? So you go jab, jab, right hand, left hook, right? But once you finish that combination, you're supposed to finish it with what? A jab. You start your combinations with a jab. You end your combinations with a jab. Do you know why you do that? It's to space yourself out from your opponent. So it's jab, jab, right hand, left hook, jab. Okay? The fundamentals of boxing. Okay? So this is something that Floyd Mayweather Sr. taught Devin Haney. He taught him. So if you're dipping on the shots, in between dipping from shots, you can come up with something because off of your defense comes your offense. So I'm going to imitate Devin Haney. He's dipping under the shots, pivoting around, dipping under the shot, dipping under the shot. But you could have done this. Dip under the shot, whoop, dip under the shot, whoop, jab, jab. The jab helps you to maintain range so that Ryan Garcia's hooks wouldn't get to you. You know where he is at all times. The other thing you do is you touch the shoulder. You frame. If you're in close, collapse jab means a frame. A frame right here. My hands on your neck or my hands on your shoulder, finding where you are. I need to know where you are at all times. Okay? You frame to know where your opponent is because you need to know where they are. So if they throw a shot at you, you can dip under it, come back with something. Tank dipped under Ryan's hook, came back up with his left hand. Okay? It's the difference between Tank and Devin Haney. Tank and Devin Haney knows this. He just didn't use it. And the reason Devin Haney wasn't able to do that properly was because Devin Haney moves too excessively. He patterns his style off of Sugar Ray Leonard. So he'll dip excessively. And so his weight is shifting from one leg to the other. And he looks like he's punch drunk because he seems to be off balance all the time. Because his balance isn't perfect. Tank has perfect balance. He don't make that excessive movement. He don't move his body excessively from one side to the other. Swivel off the center and all that stuff. He don't move excessively. It's short, compact, sharp movements. Okay? So What was Devin's adjustment to preventing Ryan from you see, the question was, why couldn't Devin adjust? So his adjustment was a very simple thing. He changed levels. Okay. He feinted coming in. He feinted as if he was going to come in. And then he popped that jab. He stayed off of center line and popped that jab. Sometimes he pop it up top, like that. Up top here. Or sometimes to the body. And then you slide back out. The jab dictated the distance. And because he has a slightly longer reach than Ryan, he was able to feint. Sometimes he'd feint the right hand, come with the jab. Sometimes he would feint the jab, come with the left hook. That's how he caught Ryan in the second round, stunned him. All right? Sometimes he'd feint the hook, come with the jab. Devin Haney has so many different feints and different ways of throwing that jab. All right? And so because of that and his movement, he was able to take away Ryan's weapon. But in the 7th round, he hurt Ryan to the body. Y'all didn't see that, did you? Because y'all don't know boxing like that. He hurt Ryan to the body. I actually said it in the commentary. And Ryan responded with a flurry of shots because he really got hurt. So he was coming back with everything. And he threw like about 4, 5, 6 hooks. Instinctively, he just went on the offensive tear. Now, this was the time for Devin Haney, if he was calculated like Tank, using his jab, he could have controlled Ryan. Ryan wasn't popping the jab much in this entire fight, even though Derek James keeps on telling him, throw the jab. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between Tank and Devin again. Tank controlled Ryan's jab early in that fight. He occupied him. Now, Devin Haney's father told him to do that, but Devin Haney never did it. I'm going to show you. So again, Tank's a southpaw. So I'm going to go into the southpaw stance. So it's a little bit different to orthodox stance. In the orthodox stance, it's a southpaw, right? In the orthodox stance, now to occupy your opponent's jab, you got to remember that your opponent's jab, this hand, is over here. So I'm touching you over here, knowing the right cross could come. Remember, when you're doing your drills, right, you slip the jab here, and just in case the cross is coming, you slip this way to make sure that the cross doesn't come and hit you. So we say slip, 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 right? Okay. So when you pop your jab, you must have a defensive maneuver for after you pop your jab. You don't just pop a jab. Okay? So Devin Haney, when he's popping his jab against Ryan, he has virtual distance. He inched in to do that. He gets the jab in, and then he pivots back, and he slides back out. Devin Haney, just like Canelo Alvarez, just like Floyd Mayweather, they will feint like if they're coming in to close distance, and they're not doing that. They haven't actually moved from where they are. They're just inching in on you, and then they hit you with the jab, and they go out the pocket. It's called being in the pocket, out the pocket. Some people, they'll pop you with the jab in the pocket, pivot off the ball of the front foot, and then slide back out. So you slide back out at an angle. Okay? You guys understand what I'm saying? Or you don't follow me? Like I said, a lot of you don't know shit about boxing, so you don't even understand. Some of y'all ain't understand what I'm saying, so I'm explaining it to you. Because boxing's layered. In terms of boxing knowledge, there's a lot of things to know and master. Okay, so you asked me the question, why couldn't Devin adjust? He did adjust. And he was very effective for 5 rounds. From round 2 to round 6, Devin was very effective with that jab, and he was doing everything off the jab. He was catching Ryan with overhand rights. He'd mix up the jab, throw a left hook. He'd whip a hook off of the jab. When Ryan started doing that weird squirmish Philly shell shit, right? Devin took advantage of his exposed side because he wasn't covering his whole entire body, started hitting him with spleen shots. He would hit him with a left to the solar plexus and to the body. But you got to understand, Ryan, because of his mass, he could absorb the punishment much easier because he's a welterweight, basically. He came in on the scales as a welterweight, right? So obviously he's going to balloon up 10, 15 pounds from what he is, or 10, 20 pounds from what he is. So you're looking at somebody who's weighing somewhere between 163 to 170 pounds. Devin Haney comes in probably 160, 165. Maybe Ryan's even more than that because Ryan looked, his arms were way bigger than Devin Haney's arms. His back was way bigger than Devin Haney's back. Go watch it. That's why Timothy Bradley talking about it is unfair with the weight, but you can't say it's unfair when the guy agreed to face you. He agreed, so it's fair. Okay? No excuses out here. And I'm glad that Devin Haney's not making any excuses for the fight either. It was the fight close? Absolutely. Anybody who knows, those two always rumble. They always have close fights anyway. But in addition to that, you just scored a fight. You see it's a close fight. Chris Mannix, Max DeLuca, myself, and any person we don't really have a rat in the race. We just want to see a good fight. And we're not fanboys. Would score the fight properly. But y'all don't know how to score fucking fights. Because y'all don't even know what the fuck you be watching. Which annoys the fuck out of me. Which is why I'm saying fuck. So anyway, I try to educate people, but I told you I don't have the patience to really deal with people who are being assholes. I'm gonna be straight with y'all. You know, I'm 50 years old. I'm an old guy, and there's only so much shit I can put up with. I used to teach kids. I tolerated their stupidity. I don't expect grown adults, to be stupid like that. I just don't expect it. But you asked a very good question for someone who wants to know. So that's how he adjusted. He used the jab. And that's what Devin Haney's best weapon is, his jab. Now I'm going to explain to you how Ryan Garcia got in his head and made him put that jab away. Okay? Ryan's talking about going to 147. You see him beating anyone at 147? He's not even talking about going to 147, my friend. If you were paying attention, he talked about going to 154 and facing Sebastian Fundora. He's big. He's a big dude. Some people say he was talking about facing Jerome Boots Ennis. That's a good fight. I got Ennis in that fight. But Ryan can punch. Nobody's saying no. It's just he's a one-trick pony. He really is a one-trick pony. The thing he does well is throw that hook. He's a hooker. You know. But having said that, he's a damn good hooker. You know what I mean? So you give him the opportunity, he will showcase his skills. You take it away from him. And Devin was taking it away from him and slowly beating him down. And that's why Ryan was actually on the back foot, because Ryan, it wasn't trap setting he was trying to do. Ryan actually was on the back foot. Devin Haney was pushing him back. But in the 7th round, Ryan decided to fire back because he got hurt to the body with that jab. And he just started throwing. Now, Devin wasn't smart enough, like I said before, to begin and use his jab to control Ryan, which leads us to another thing. And this is why I said Tank Davis' IQ is up there. You can tell Mayweather been talking to this kid. Tank Davis, southpaw. Oh, that's what I was doing, and I got distracted. Okay, so Tank Davis is in the southpaw stance, right? So if you're in the southpaw stance, I have to squat because of the camera and everything. I have to kind of get low. So you're in the southpaw stance, right? Tank was doing this. Now, y'all don't understand what I'm doing. So the best way to explain it is he was touching what's called a touch jab. He was touching Ryan Garcia's jabbing hand, his right hand. Because when you're in the southpaw stance, your jabbing hand, both of your jabbing hands are mirror images to each other. So they're on the same side. So I'm touching this. I'm constantly keeping my hands touching this. I can't stiff arm it and touch it and keep it there, but I'm touching it and I'm pushing it back like this. Now, what that does is keeps your jabbing hand occupied. You have to wrestle with my jabbing hand to try and get over it. And I'm subconsciously keeping your jabbing hand at home, so I don't have to worry about your jab. That's how you take away a guy's jabs. Smart. Devin Haney never did that with Ryan Garcia. He just implemented his jab. And since Ryan Garcia wasn't counting the jab, the man who jabs dictates the fight and controls the fight. You got it? Now, correctly said by I believe it was Sergio Mora, he said that Devin Haney is a rhythm fighter. Devin Haney has to get into a rhythm, and then once he gets going, it's all good. And he made some mistakes in this fight, and he paid for them dearly. His first mistake, like I said, was he didn't begin with his jab when Ryan went on the offensive and end with his jab to keep the range. And if he did do that, he would have seen through the storm to be able to counter in between those punches that Ryan was throwing. Okay? Which is what Tank did. And he would have caught Ryan, because I saw him catch Ryan with one of those left hooks, sort of almost like a corkscrew or spear jab. And Ryan was buckled. He lost his feet and banged his gloves together because he was buckled. So, these are some of the things Devin Haney didn't do. Now, what caused Devin Haney to go into a all-out war mode and kind of abandon his jab and the game plan was because Devin Haney realized that Ryan Garcia could get hit. And that Ryan Garcia wasn't trying to walk to him. He was actually moving away from him. So Devin felt he could do anything. And I think his confidence, he went beyond his confidence and it betrayed him. He thought he could knock out Ryan Garcia for some reason. So without setting anything up, and I've seen Devin do this before, he started going right hand happy and he started throwing left hooks. His right hand happiness was rewarded by Ryan Garcia going into this weird shell. And so Devin Haney was able to pound on Ryan Garcia's spleen area. Harvey Duck was warning him not to hit in the back, but he was allowing him to hit him in the spleen. So Devin Haney was being rewarded for hitting Ryan Garcia in the spleen. The problem with that is, and Ryan was getting hurt. Ryan was feeling that, okay? But the problem with that was he abandoned the jab. Ryan Garcia got in his head so much that, and he was so embarrassed that he got knocked down, that he just went on an all-out war. There was no planning, nothing. Just like how Ryan Garcia was just going on an all-out war with him when he got hurt. Okay, when Ryan Garcia got hurt with the jab to the pit in the 7th round, he just went on an all-out round. He just started throwing a whole bunch of punches and just throwing. But Devin started doing the same stupid thing that Ryan was doing. He just abandoned his jab, stopped working off his jab, and just started trying to knock out Ryan Garcia with an overhand right or come back with a left hook. And his emotions got the better of him because Ryan had been prodding in the buildup. I mean, they started off with Devin Haney, Tank beating on Devin Haney and all of this. So this all built up to a crescendo, my religion. You talked about my religion. So now Devin Haney's going all out. Like he wants to try and stop Ryan Garcia. He don't have one-hitter quitter power, though. And he started telegraphing his punches. So in round number 10, Ryan Garcia caught up to him. And Devin went back in a straight line. And Ryan Garcia threw a whole bunch of combinations. And the last one landed. Devin dug most of them and then he got caught with the last one. And he was partially blocking it, actually. But Ryan was coming in with so much momentum. He just caught him there. He dropped him. Now, Dev at that point in time was not as hurt as the first time. So he got back up and he was fighting. But the point is, you lost points right there. You got dropped, right? And the reason that happened was because he was going straight back. In boxing, you don't go straight back. And I said this about Shakur Stevenson as well. Somebody going to catch him too. I didn't expect it of Devin Haney, but apparently he does that. You don't go straight back. You're always going off a pivot. You're always circling out. And you don't want to cross your legs, so you're going to circle out this way if you are orthodox. All right? You don't go straight back. It's cardinal sin. And I saw Devin Haney doing that a number of times in this fight, going straight back, which was interesting. I think it's because when he got hit with the first shot, it stunned him and it sort of affected his game plan. But yeah, you don't go straight back. So that again was interesting. Yeah, so that was his other problem. So he abandoned the adjustment, Seraphim Guardians. He abandoned the adjustment that he made that was allowing him to dictate and control the fight, because he felt he was so in control that he thought he could just do anything to Ryan Garcia and get away with it, and that didn't happen. Yep. Seraphim Guardian said, and very correctly, Ryan still keeps his chin up in the air when he's snapping back. Correct. Ryan's chin still be up. He don't punch while getting hit offline. He relies on the speed too much still. Yes, a lot of things. Yeah, that's why Devin Haney actually caught him with that corkscrew jab or spear jab or, leaping left hook. He caught him with it because he snaps back and his chin is up in the air. Very correct. Very correct. In addition, he still throws wildly. So when he's throwing these hooks, he's throwing all these short, compact hooks. Really, that's how he caught Devin Haney the last time. Devin Haney, again, he didn't space himself out properly. So he got caught with a right hand and then a left hook right after it. And the left hook put him down. And he got caught flush, by the way. He was supposed to either get under the shot or use his jab to frame Ryan Garcia in that thing. He could have dropped levels and framed, or he could have slipped back and framed. So Ryan would fall short. You understand? He'd fall short with those combinations, and then he could pick it from a distance. He could pick him off, or he could go to the body. He stab him to the body, stab him up top, feint to the body, go up top, that kind of stuff. But in the heat of the moment, Devin gets caught in no man's land, and this is something that we saw with the Linares fight. He gets caught in no man's land because he's not framing. You either frame the guy to restrict his offense, meaning if I take my jabbing hand, my lead hand, right, and I rest it on your shoulder here, you can't punch over me. You can't punch over that. So you restrict all the punches. Nothing can come here because I framed you, and I frame you down like this, which you saw in the fight. You saw Ryan and Dev do that, but he wasn't doing none of that. He was just sitting in no man's land with his guard down, so he got caught. And that happens to Devin quite a lot. He needs to address that. Who's a good guy he needs to go see? Nate, who worked with Floyd Mayweather. He's really good with balance. He's really good with your defense to make sure your defense always stays tight. QT says, protect yourself at all times. Get them hands back. That too. But Devin was, like I said before, it's all about range, right? It's all about range. So if you're in close with a guy, you need to frame them. If you're on the outside, you need to pop that jab. You start all your combinations with a jab. You end all your combinations with a jab for that reason. It's a line of defense. Jimmy Morales says, I don't think Ryan beats Boots at 147. It's just PR. Yeah, it could be just PR. I mean, let let me put you this way, okay? Ryan, with the proper preparation, he's got that neutral. I don't know though. Boots got real defense and stuff. So, and Boots is a big 147. That'd be an interesting fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it though. I wouldn't mind seeing Ryan versus Boots. But Ryan's thing is his left hook. That if Boots take away that left hook, Boots can go either side. I don't know. Boots doesn't have the experience that Ryan has, so he's not faced that kind of competition. It'll be interesting to see Ryan versus Boots. No doubt about it. I don't mind seeing it. It'll be a big money fight. And it'd be great for Boots. You know what I mean? Because Boots ain't got nobody. Again, people are just avoiding Boots. People were avoiding Devin Haney. Like some guy on Facebook was telling me, Devin Haney ain't no boogeyman. Well, then why nobody want to face him? It took Ryan, who stepped to the plate, to face him. And Ryan had some history with him in the amateurs, so Ryan stepped to the plate and faced him. And I'll be honest with you, I still maintain that Ryan, inside his soul and heart, did not want to face Devin Haney. He was warring with that part of himself. And in the fight, you saw him even tentative. He wasn't trying to walk Devin Haney down and walk through him. He wasn't trying to do that. While fighting on the back foot was part of the game plan, he was getting hurt. Say what y'all want about Devin Haney. He's a dog. You know what I mean? Do you see Devin going back to his more pure boxer styling at the end of his jab style versus this more entertaining style he's been using recently? The thing with Devin is he can do whatever he wants. It's just he must maintain his jab. If he works behind the jab, he's okay. When he abandons the jab and thinks he could just brawl with anybody and feels that, he got power like everybody. Not to say that he didn't have power like Ryan. It's just that Ryan was bigger. I believe him and Ryan have about the same power. It's just that Ryan's much more, he depends on his power more. And also he's able to administer his power better because he's so specialized in what he does. His hook thing is what he does. He throws all sorts of combinations to get the hook in. But Ryan wasn't really landing all that much on Devin, as y'all will see. And also Ryan wasn't that active. Devin was more active than Ryan. Ryan would fight in spurts. He would just start to throw a whole bunch of combinations in spurts. Kind of remind me of Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley. Just throw a whole bunch of combinations in spurts and that's it. And usually Ryan was acting and throwing those combinations in spurts because Devin Haney would hurt him. So he would respond with a whole bunch of combinations. And Devin Haney, because of his lack of proper defense or the fact that he would forget his fundamentals, would get hit. Not all the time, but he would get hit. And it's not just about eluding guys and getting out the way. You have to count. You have to come back with something. That's what will stop them in their tracks. And that's what Tank has. That's what Tank has. Jimmy Morales says, I told you Haney don't have pup in his hands. I don't know about that, brother. If he don't have pup in his hands, how he hurt Ryan in the second round? And Ryan acknowledged it at the end of the fight that he got hurt by David. And he said, Devin Haney got some pup, man. He got some pup. Ryan even said that. Okay? He didn't have pop like Ryan because Ryan was heavier. And he's a puncher. Or at least he's known as a knockout artist, right? So he didn't have that because Ryan was just much bigger than him. And Ryan's a puncher. Devin Haney's not a puncher, right? Not to say that Devin Haney don't have power. He has power. DJ Swish says Ryan is the king. Never doubt Ryan. Man, King Ryan, man. King Ryan did his thing. No disrespect to King Ryan. I was happy. And there were certain times when in the fight I wanted to see Ryan perform. Because I don't want to see no boxer's career go down the tubes. And he took this fight. And I'm really glad that he got the win, actually. It would have been a sort of stain on boxing if Devin ended up winning that fight. Given he got dropped 3 times. So I'm kind of happy that the decision went to Ryan. And if y'all watched the live stream that I had, y'all would have seen that I was actually not only me, I guess the other guys in the chat, some of the guys in the chat realized Ryan had won the fight. because I said Devin had to stop Ryan or drop him in the 12th round to win the fight. Even though Devin won the 12th round, I don't think the judges would have given him the fight. It was a close fight, don't get me wrong, in terms of points. But boxing is not just points. Boxing is about effectiveness. And the more effective fighter in that fight was Ryan. He had a better game plan, and he was able to do some spectacular stuff. You know, I was really happy that he vindicated himself to some degree. I wasn't happy about what he was doing to the sport. Like, he didn't make weight, and there's a lot of bad things he did, right? Which, if he was a black fighter, they wouldn't even let up on him, right? You see how they're going in on Devin, and Devin did everything right. Devin didn't do anything wrong. Devin fought the fighters who would get the balls to stand up and fight him. Ryan, and I said this, I give Ryan credit for this. Ryan stepped to the plate, even though he did it hesitantly because he went and tried to make the Rolly Romero fight but he stepped to the plate to face Devin Haney when Tank didn't do it, Tio didn't do it, so-called boogeyman Subriel Mateus wouldn't do it. Who else? You know, Loma even ducked him before he went and faced Devin. And that speaks volumes, because Devin was and still is the boogeyman at 140 until somebody proves it differently. Somebody have to get up to the plate, face him, and beat him, because those fighters don't want to face Dev. We all know this. They don't want to face Dev. But having said that, let's make this abundantly clear. Bill and Dev was talking mad trash. And it's just what it is. You better back that shit up. So when Dev said that Ryan was a C-level fighter and Tank only fights C-level fighters, how did I look now? That looked real bad. You got beat by a C-level fighter? You know what I mean? Y'all, you got to talk shit that you're going to back up. And he didn't back up his shit. You put that out there. Right? But Ryan got into Dev's head when Dev believed that Ryan wasn't in his right mind. He said it in the final press conference. He believed that Ryan was drinking and stuff. He said that in the final press conference as well. Ryan came on the stage with a beer as if he was drinking beer. I'm sure that was water. Ryan be just playing with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And when he was finally talking, he said, "I'm just joking." Right? He was letting people know, hey. And when he said, you know, he was going out and partying and shit, Derek James straightened that out. He said, "Fuck no, he wasn't doing that." He was in Texas. We had him, and he was training his ass off, you know, basically saying that Ryan was putting on a facade and people bought into it. You know what I mean? He was training his ass off. So that's cool, man. Jimmy Morales says Matthias is the real Freddy Krueger. Okay. Believe what you want to believe. I'm going to say this, though. Devin whoops his ass. I'm going to say that right now. Because Mateus don't have what Ryan Garcia has. Ryan Garcia has quickness, speed, boxing IQ. He's got all those stuff. Plus, he mentally got in Devin's head. So Devin was chasing him down. The master Floyd Mayweather was behind that. And Bernard Hopkins was trying to assist and fueling that. And Bill Haney talked about it to Fight Hut TV. He knew that they were collaborating. He knew what was going on. Mateus is too cement-footed, bro. He's too slow. There's a reason Mateus wasn't trying to face Devin Haney. Now that Devin Haney been dropped 3 times by Ryan Garcia, I'm sure they're going to try. They should be making that Devin Haney fight. Because Devin Haney is still WBC champion, right? He's still the champ, even though he got his ass beat. So they should be lining up in their droves wanting to face Devin. But you know what they're going to say? Oh, he ain't got no chin. Oh, he don't make no money. Even though the pay-per-view, I'm sure, is going to be through the roof. And I know the ticket sales, I know the place was sold out. Like I said it was going to be. WattUNeed being right about a lot of things on this channel, you know, and people always throw shade at WattUNeed. Why? Because What You Need ain't on no fanboy shit. What You Need is not on no narrative shit. What You Need observe certain things and then realizes, oh, this is what this is really. Jimmy Morales says, I live like 40 minutes from the Coliseum where Mateus versus Power is going to fight on June. Oh, you Puerto Rican. Hey, nice. Shout out to Puerto Rico in the building. You know what I want to see? I think every fight fan want to see. We want to see Subriel Mateus versus Pitbull Cruz. Shit. That's what I want to see. That's a fight. That's going to be a fight, y'all. That's going to be a fight. You want to see a good fight? That's going to be a good fight. You know, I don't mind. Hey, listen, I don't mind Subriel Mateus versus all the champions at 140, right? Hey, by the way, I do believe Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney will face each other sometime in the future. I don't think Ryan Garcia can face Devin Haney at 140. He can't make 140. He said it, right? Which means Ryan Garcia is probably going to fight. If he has to fight Devin Haney again, it's either at 147 or 154 somewhere in the future. I don't think they're going to have an immediate rematch because Devin Haney, first of all, I don't think he had an immediate rematch clause in that. So I think Ryan's going to move on and do what he do, and they're going to meet back up in the future. I'm telling you, man, y'all looking at a modern day Hearns, Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard kind of thing going on here. You know, Tank beat Ryan, Ryan beat Dev, and we'll see how it goes from here, you know. And this is an exciting time. Y'all don't realize what period you're in because y'all so narrow-minded. Y'all like fans. Y'all Tank fans. Y'all Haney fans. Y'all Ryan fans. Y'all Shakur fans. Y'all take the fun out of the thing. Sit back and enjoy something great, man. Enjoy it. This is what boxing is. I love the theatrics. I love the drama. I love the unexpected. This is what's so fun in boxing, man. It don't make the fighters less great. Devin Haney showed dog. Devin Haney showed grit. Devin Haney, them left hooks, the first left hook he got, I put him down in the 7th round. I'm not going to lie. Any other fighter probably go to sleep. That motherfucker got back up and recouped before the end of the round. Think about what I'm saying. Now, if you don't like Devin Haney, oh, you rejoicing and you saying, oh, he ain't got no chin, he blah, 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 blah. But who could stand up to that punch? Not even Tank could stand up to that shit. Tank was all grabbing and wobbly legged in the beginning when Ryan hit him. And that was not even a full-fledged strong Ryan like the Ryan that faced Devin Haney. Think about what I'm saying. Y'all don't think. Right? Devin Haney was a dog. He's still walking down Ryan after he got dropped. Think about what I'm saying. Does Devin Haney have a chin? Fuck yes, he has a chin. But you would get dropped by a guy who outweighs you by 10 to 15 pounds that hit you flush on the chin with his money punch. You probably get dropped too in a combination. Ninja got back up and fought and actually won rounds. He ended up finishing strong, winning the 12th round. All right. Kudos to Ryan, though. Great game plan. But Devin Haney ain't no punk, y'all. He built for this. And that's why Devin Haney's on to the next. They on to the next. They looking for the next fight. And believe you me, even though he's on the losing end of the stick, his cachet just went up like that. Because here's what the detractors will say. Oh, Devin Haney, he just clinching all night. That's what they'll say when both guys was clinching because both guys was getting hurt. But when you only one track and you probably a Tank fan, and so you glad that Devin Haney's losing, well, you could only see one set of things because you got blinders on. You dig? We're supposed to be happy that we exist in an era where we got a division that's lit like fire. The 140-pound division is lit. It is the division right now. It is the most talented division out of all the divisions. So if Devin Haney wants to go undisputed at 140, let me show you guys something because y'all ain't registering. Ryan, Who is stopped by Tank? Just beat Devin Haney. Listen, y'all got to think. Y'all was trashing Ryan not but a couple of days ago, a couple of hours ago. Oh, his career is over. Oh, he's going to be finished. Y'all was saying that about Ryan. So is it strange that you're saying this bullshit now about Dev? Oh, he's a fraud, and he's this, and he can't on the shin. It ain't surprising. Then he goes and he beats somebody's ass that y'all thought he couldn't beat, and then y'all gonna be singing a different tune. How much of y'all, how much are y'all fake ass motherfuckers out here? Y'all are fake. If you're riding with a fighter, ride with him. Don't suck their dick. Ride with them. We got too many chumps and dick suckers out here. You be riding the success. As soon as the fighter loses and starts to lose and lose and lose, how many of y'all are still Broner fans? Y'all was sucking his dick when he was something, huh? But now y'all ain't sucking no dick no more. Oh, Broner's done. His career is over. Blah, 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 blah. Yada, 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 yada. I'm just being real. So when you go to open your illiterate mouth to start bad talking a fighter, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, just remember this. You ain't shit. You can't do what they doing. Buy the fights, support the sport, and stop bad talking to fighters. Why you couldn't say Devin Haney was a warrior? He fought like a true warrior, in spite of him being dropped. Why can't you not say something positive? When Ryan Garcia got beat, when Rolly Romero got beat, when Teal got beat, why couldn't you not say Teal fought like a warrior? Yeah, Kambosos beat his ass, but he still fought to the end. We dwell on shit. And that's why the sport doesn't grow like it should. I'm not saying the fans are only to blame, but a lot of you motherfuckers out there are to blame. Because you give the sport a negative light. And you do not highlight the positive things about the sport. You dwell on the negatives. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with your lives that you could be so salty and so negative all the time. I'm what you need. I'm not what you want. So I'm going to tell it straight to your ass. Jimmy Morales, Mateus is 100% knockout artist and caught a body. So who's the real boogeyman? So a boogeyman's a guy who knocks out people. Or is a boogeyman a guy who's avoided? If he's so bad, why didn't he take the fight with Devin? Why wasn't he pushing for the fight with Devin? Why is he talking about money and dollar signs and Devin can't sell? Fuck your boogeyman. I know you're Puerto Rico. Hey, by the way, Viva Puerto Rico. Don't give me that bullshit. When I started to hear people mumbling about money and shit, you ain't nothing. Ryan more boogeyman than Matthias. Step to the fucking plate or shut the fuck up. Boogeyman my ass. You're a boogeyman, but you won't face the guy that wants to fight you. You a boogeyman? Okay. Then Matthias should take a. Now that Devin Haney just lost, you should be eager to face him. Should be itching to face him because you should be able to knock his ass out. That should be the next fight on your list. Liam Parrow? Devin Haney. I want Devin Haney. That's the fight. Push for it. Y'all on the same fucking network. The Zone. Make it happen. Matthias versus Haney. Next. And don't sleep, don't wait, don't rest. Go for it. That's how Devin do it. Otherwise, you're not no fucking boogeyman. But Matthias has been calling Haney my ass. He ain't calling for shit because the money was put in front of him. Say, what you want? How much you want for this? Let's go. Talk is cheap. Show me. Don't tell me. That's why I'm on bill for talking about all of these guys are stay busy fights. Well, you just got beat by a stay busy fight. Ryan Garcia. Don't be talking shit you can't back up. Don't be talking shit you can't back up. Because we got the sound bites. I'm saying? Oh, he a C-level fighter. He ain't C-level fighter my ass. He just beat your ass. So is he C-level? Then you C-level. What the fuck are you saying? Real talk. See, I'm not on bullshit. I ain't such a fan that, no, because the principle is don't talk something you can't back up. That's a principle in boxing. Don't be talking something you can't back your shit up. And that goes for everybody, including myself. That's why I come from facts. Excuse me. Be right back. Yeah. Much love to everybody. QT in the building. All right, let me just hail out everybody here. Jimmy Morales, my dude from Puerto Rico. Shout out to Puerto Rico. Viva Puerto Rico. Don't get it twisted. When I'm talking hard, it don't mean I have no love for Subriel Mateus. I want to see Subriel Mateus in the big fights with the big names, with the big fighters. I get what you guys doing, hyping up your fighter as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to talk, let's talk truth. Let's not talk bullshit. Let's not bullshit people. Okay? I get the hype around Subriel Mateus. Don't have to tell me. I've seen his work. Okay? So I'm not one of those guys who's hating on Subriel Mateus. All right? He a bad boy. Nobody's saying no. He a bad boy. But don't be telling me he the boogeyman, but he don't want to face Devin Haney. If you want to face, if you're the boogeyman, you ain't even Devin Haney. What? Where is he? Give me the contract. I'm gonna sign it. Let's go. Because Devin Haney being that dude. He wanted Cambosis. He made it happen. He wanted Ryan. He made it happen. He didn't have the lion's share of the money. Ryan's making like 20 million or some shit like that. 30 million or some shit like that. Okay. Haney said, shit, I don't need to be the A side on this shit. You be the A side. Teal couldn't do that with Ryan. Tank couldn't do that with Ryan. Okay? Cruz turned down Ryan. Just saying. Cruz faced Raleigh instead of Ryan. All right, with what you need, you can support this channel by clicking the link there or in the chat section. I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. Don't get tripped. Don't trip because I stay focused on what I was saying. So yeah, Devin made those mistakes and he paid for them, right? Um, with respect to what the future holds for both fighters, first of all, because Devin faced Ryan, who's a hot name and probably going to be a Hall of Famer when all said and done, um, that's going to be, it actually helps Devin's cachet. Not only did he make a boatload of money on this fight, so he didn't really lose, but both guys put out hell of a performances. You can't really, you can't really say that it wasn't an exciting fight. And the beautiful thing about it was the twist to the fight where Ryan actually got the win, creating what is called the upset of the year, probably the upset of the decade. You know, so all of that goes down in there. You got to, this part of history, you know. So this fight been great. So both fighters, people are going to want to look forward to seeing both fighters. Of course, most people want to see if Devin will lose again and if he will get dropped and stopped. So people looking forward to that. So they'll watch the fight just for that. And with Ryan, well, people just looking for to see if he will knock out the next person or what will happen, right? So in that respect, Ryan's like a giga star right now. Ryan's huge. Ryan just become just supernova. He's in a different stratosphere right now. The kind of money he can call for fights and stuff, you know, he gets to dictate everything, you know, like Oscar De La Hoya did. So that's gonna be interesting with Ryan Garcia. He's like the golden goose that laid the golden egg for decades. He's the money man, you know what I mean? You know, the world's at his fingertips from here on in. So that's a huge win that he had. And with respect to Dev gets notoriety. They're gonna more look at Dev in a negative way because Dev is black and you know he's not mainstream. Ryan's a beautiful white looking Mexican, so Mexican American. So he's gonna get, even though he did all the bullshit you could think of, America's gonna forgive him. They're not gonna call him cocky and arrogant and all that stuff, which is crazy, but it is what it is. And Dev, they're gonna still go. They're gonna have hate for Dev, but they're gonna get bigger and bigger fights. This fight actually helps Dev, and Dev, it's just a good learning experience for him, facing adversity. And there's no downside to it for him. There's only upside because now people are gonna think he's more vulnerable, so they're gonna try to exploit his vulnerabilities. And so I think he's going to get more fights, which is going to be good for him. So we'll see how he performs in those fights. QT says, do you see Devin going back to his more pure boxing style? Okay, yeah. So no, he doesn't. He always fights from a pure boxing perspective per se. The thing with Dev is he just needs to keep his jab. I work behind his jab. That's he doesn't have to go circling all around the ring and all of that. Right? He's good. It's just I think when he thought of being a la raza, he thought that he could just take Ryan's shots, and Ryan was just significantly bigger than him, and he didn't factor that in. He thought he could get under the hook and block a lot of shots, but in so doing, like he himself said, he lapsed. He sort of got lazy, and that's why he got dropped. And he should have been much more alert. And that's something you can't fault Tank. Tank's always super alert, super sharp. So there's certain things about Tank we're seeing just by looking at Dev. You can see the experience level of Tank and the counseling from Floyd Mayweather. Tank's on a different level to Dev in that respect. And again, I used to think that Dev would beat Tank when they fought, but I'm not saying that he doesn't. But I'm just saying there's things that Tank has that Devin doesn't have. The thing about Devin, though, that's different to Tank is Devin has a really good jab. Like if Devin's jabbing, Tank is not going to just be able to occupy Devin's jab like that because Devin feints when he's throwing jabs. He changes up things. Tank wouldn't just be able to occupy his jab in hand. Devin knows about that. And him and Shakur and Devin are kind of similar. And Shakur needs to become more of a dog but he has to be a smart dog. So what I mean by this, I know Shakur's a dog, but what I mean is, like in a fight, like when it was De Los Santos, who was also a quick fighter, Shakur was leaping back instead of engaging. And there's a time and place for that, but you also have to stay in the pocket and engage. So Devin's kind of mastering the stay in the pocket and engage thing, whereas Shakur still wants to be 100% certain that he won't be harmed when he goes into the pocket. And you can't just be that. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, if any one of you guys want to jump on here and talk face to face, and I'm not a guy that abuses people. It's just if you're talking shit, like you're just maintaining shit for no reason, I'll just stay quiet. But generally, by nature, I get impatient and I get annoyed by people who, in the face of evidence, in the face of facts, continue to say really dumb shit after you've educated them. You let them know what's happening and they just continue down the same line. I prefer not to talk to those people. I no disrespect to nobody, because the last set of guests that were on here, I did not disrespect them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, some of y'all, sometimes y'all just continue to say the same shit. And you know very well you haven't analyzed the situation. You haven't gathered any facts of the situation. You're just going on feelings and emotions and narratives. And I'm not really interested in that. Right? I'm a serious guy. I'm trying to educate people on boxing. I'm not trying to aggrandize myself and become great. And oh Lord, I'm just a fan like you. Okay. But I just don't like bullshit. I don't like people who are fucking around with me. You know, I've had enough of that in my life. If you're gonna fuck around with me, just leave. Don't fuck around with me. Don't do that. Don't fuck me up. Don't try and send me around in circles and troll and that kind of shit. I'm too old for that shit. But if you want to be a big guest on here, the link is in the chat. Just look for the StreamYard link. I'm not going to go to that. Let's get through the other. Man, you guys been talking a lot though. Woo! Okay, so Jimmy Morales is hot on Matthias. Cool. Again, it's your country, man. So you're gonna root for him. But I want you to try to assess things outside of your fandom, outside of your hype train. You know what I mean? Just look at it objectively for a second. You can do that. Okay. Matthias stops Haney in 5 rounds. I bet you whatever you want. No, bro, I don't want you to lose your money. If Ryan couldn't stop Haney, and Ryan is bigger than Matthias. Ryan was a full-fledged welterweight. Well, not full-fledged. He was like a catchweight welterweight, right? Going into that fight. And Ryan probably blew up to, 170, 180. Devin's probably at 165, maybe 170. Them two's rumbling in there. How's Mateus gonna do that to Dev, man? I'm not saying that Mateus ain't got hard hands and stuff, but he don't got the quickest feet in the world, man. Ryan's got quick feet. Devin Haney is good for boxing because Haney can bounce back from this. Fighters need to see this. This is the thing. Just because you take a loss in boxing, it's not the end of the world. Some fans will be assholes and they'll say what they say, but it's not the end of the world. Right? We saw Fundora bounce back. We saw Ryan bounce back emphatically and really great. We saw Rolly Romero take a loss, but he bounced back, right? We saw Barroso, who got knocked out twice in his career. He's now almost at the top of the division. He's on the verge of becoming a world champion. So, I mean, come on, man. This is just what boxing is. This is boxing. People lose all the time. That's not a problem. Just because you've seen Floyd Mayweather do it, don't mean everybody's Floyd Mayweather. Why is this a problem? What's important is you fight the fights. You fight the fights that count. What were your thoughts on Barboza? He was getting pieced up. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He got that decision. I don't know if he was supposed to get that decision, y'all. I don't know, man. I saw pieces of the fight. I didn't get to see the whole thing because my feet cut off for a minute. I was really pissed. I'll go back and watch it though. I still got the feed, so I'm gonna go back and watch it. Guys, don't forget to pay for these fights, right? Let's if you guys want to come together and we all put up money and electronically we can access something online because you can use multiple users on different platforms, we should do that. Because these fights are expensive. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. These fights are expensive. Macabre was robbed from the Barbosa. I hate that shit. Yeah, again, he not the name, he not the house name. Barbosa was training his ass off, but I think he overtrained. Jimmy Morales says Tank is better all-around boxer than Devin, and that's it. Yeah, I kind of come into that realization in terms of he's a little further along for sure. He's got a lot more wrinkles. Yeah. Talk about how Ryan kept turning his back to get some wind. Yeah, that's Devin took advantage of that situation. He took advantage of the situation. He was pounding him to the body, and Ryan didn't like that. Ryan didn't like that. Yeah, I saw that. And he keep on reverting to it, and Derek James is not a proponent of that. And Ryan just does what he does. Ryan he's been doing it since the amateurs though, but it's terrible, and he's gonna pay for that. If that was a puncher, he would have paid for that. They would have knocked him out. Yeah, but yeah. So let me get to the future of Haney and Garcia, and I can wrap it up. I can't remember. There's something else I'm supposed to say, but I can't remember. So Ryan Garcia, the world's at his fingertips now. The fights that he wants, he can demand whatever fight he wants. Devin Haney, only upside for Devin Haney. I believe he's going to get fights he wants as well, because a lot of people are going to think he's vulnerable. But they're going to learn very quickly that he's not. But it's one of those things where these are great fighters, and when you meet great fighters and great fighters match up with each other, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But I really appreciate what Ryan brings to the table, and I'm really happy that he won. I'm not sorry that Dev lost, but I'm a fan of Dev, so I believe this is a learning experience for him, and he's gonna come back better from it. But he fought like a true warrior, and hopefully he understands psychological games and be able to take that same experience. Because if you think about it, Tank boxed Ryan, and that's how Tank beat Ryan. Ryan boxed Dev, and that's how Ryan beat Dev. That was my first DAZN-based pay-per-view. Quality was terrible. They cut out and had bad camera angles. Hopefully they'll improve with the new talent. Yeah. I my feed died on me a couple times, but yeah. I mean, it was still a great fight. Great fight. If it does great pay-per-view numbers, Dev would have been on a fight where he did good pay-per-view. So this will help Dev. No doubt about it. It will help Dev. It will help Ryan. And it also sets up for like a grudge match somewhere down the road, even though this is the settling one. They're probably going to face each other again somewhere down the road, maybe at 154, maybe at 160. And it's going to be even a bigger fight because this fight was big. So if they continue their reputations and they do really great in their careers, you could be seeing another. You could see a rematch, and it could be bigger. Unfortunately, Tank doesn't look like he's going to get further up. So I don't know if Dev will ever face Tank. It depends on if Tank decides to take the Devin Haney fight. So I don't know if Tank will ever face Devin Haney. But the future for both guys look bright. And like I said, with these big fights, there's no downside to these big fights. Nobody got blown out the water. Both guys fought like competitive guys. The fight was, in my opinion, a close fight based on points, not based on knockdowns. In terms of knockdowns, it wasn't close, but in terms of points, it was close. And hopefully Devin Haney will understand that you shouldn't give in to your emotions. You have to be mentally strong when you're doing these things, because guys will manipulate you. And now that a blueprint's out there to manipulate Devin Haney, he has to sort of, you know, he has to sort of make adjustments so that he doesn't fall prey to, you know, being the person who gets exploited like that again. Because mind games is a real thing, and Floyd is a master of mind games, and Bernard Hopkins was a master of mind games, and I know Ryan talked to both Floyd and Hopkins, so it's going to be interesting though how things go in the future. And we will just have to look and wait and see. But that's what I got for you guys on the breakdown analysis of Haney versus Garcia. I think that Adrian Broner probably made a good chunk of money. So shout out to Adrian Broner. He bet on Ryan Garcia, and I'm sure he's rewarded big time. Wish I had money out of. But yeah, man. Dwayne Ellis says, I think Ryan did a great job, but let's be honest. He came into the fight a middleweight. He should just go to 147 or 154. He's going to respect the rules of boxing for a win. Okay, so regardless, Devin fought him. Was he a middleweight on fight night? I don't think so. I think he was like a light heavyweight, somewhere in the 170s. He's heavy. Dev came in like 160 something, a little smaller. So they were both big, but Ryan was much bigger. And he's carrying like his full power with him because he didn't compromise by losing weight. So he was packing a punch. I mean, now with respect to what Ryan did, or he portrayed as if he was disrespecting the rules of boxing, that was to get under Devin Haney's skin and have all of us baffled, so that when he won, we would all be like, ah, you know. I think it's a different fight with Ryan at 140. Ryan can't make 140. He said so. He's got to go up in weight. So Ryan's going to fight probably 154 or 147. One of the two. You know, that's where Ryan will be fighting. So that's why I think the rematch with Devin Haney, if it has to happen, if they decide, okay, let's do a rubber match, let's do the rematch, it's going to have to happen at welterweight. But Haney was going to go up to welterweight anyway. But with Haney, after he had that fight at welterweight, would he go back down to 140? And he said he wanted to unify. He wanted to become undisputed. Will he still want to do that? So that's the question. You know? So, but can't take nothing away from Ryan Garcia right now, because I wouldn't do that, because Haney agreed to it. He agreed to fight Ryan at 143. So it is what it is. So there's no excuses. You know, Timothy Bradley talking about Ryan was too big and blah, 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 blah. Listen, man. Listen. Devin Haney and Bill Haney agreed to it. So it don't matter. And that was part of Ryan's game plan. Right? And we know this. I even spoke on it before seeing the fight. I just thought that Ryan, because he quit in the fight with Tank, if Haney put the pressure on him, he would quit again. And Haney was putting the pressure on him, and he was starting to fade. But then when Haney got caught with the left hook, Haney stopped putting that kind of pressure on him. He wasn't targeting his body with the jab, and he wasn't walking him down with the jab. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So that's what I got for you guys. I am what you need. Hope you guys have a good night. Sorry about the cursing out people, but be honest with you, I just really don't have the patience for people who, you know, they're not about really enriching people about boxing, you know. And I apologize to the gentleman who I said he's an ass, but he was behaving like an ass. So, but I apologize to him because I don't personally know him like that. And I'm sure he's a sensible person otherwise. And I'm sure he's a polite person and he wouldn't insult people. But it's just when you're going to say something, okay, when you're going to, as an adult person, you're not a child, so you don't have to blurt out things. Do have your facts lined up at least. At least, if you want to say this is a robbery, then score the fight. And then and look at other people how they scored the fight. If you want to say that this fight wasn't close or that fight wasn't close, have some sort of evidence, any kind of evidence, whether it's video evidence or whatever, and you're going to argue a point. So, for example, a fight can be close, but you can have rounds that are close. For example, you could have a competitive fight because the rounds are close, right? But you could have one guy, have 9 rounds to 3. So it's a competitive fight where you have close rounds, but one guy won most of the close rounds. So it's 9-3, right? You can have a fight where the fight itself is close, but one guy, he's like spectacularly performing. Dropped like Pacquiao versus Marquez, the first fight. Pacquiao dropped Marquez 3 times in the first round. 3 times. Marquez goes on to claw back in the fight, and then Pacquiao hurts him again. Claws himself back in the fight, and Pacquiao hurts him again, right? Okay, that's a perfect example. The fight ended up being a draw. Okay. Well, in the case of Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney was dropped 3 times. 2 more flash knockdowns, and the first one was a legitimate knockdown that really messed him up. But the point I'm making is you could be knocked down 3 times in a fight and still come back to either win the fight or you could come back to get a draw. And we saw it with Joseph Parker versus Zileng Zhang. You remember that? He got knocked down twice, but he still went back to outpoint the guy. And the reason why I say Devin Haney won those rounds is because he was also the aggressor, and Ryan wasn't throwing much in the rounds that he won. So Devin Haney was doing everything right. He was the aggressor. He was landing the shots. So that's how he won those rounds. It was pretty clear. So I don't know, I don't know how people can score it any other way than a draw or maybe slightly to Ryan or slightly to Dev. This is a close fight. The real Ricky Tan, again, starting the moronic, ridiculous, stupid conversation. This fight wasn't close. So you're just going to disagree with me, given all the facts I just laid out. The only rounds Haney got was because Garcia was giving the rounds up. You motherfucking idiot. Like, seriously, bro. How could Garcia be giving up rounds, you dumbass? Think about what you're saying before you talk. Otherwise, give me your scorecard, dummy. Give me your scorecard. I can't believe I just finished speaking, and this asshole comes and tries to disagree. It's either you haven't heard the conversation I've been making, or you just want to be an asshole. Where do you assholes come from? Seriously. Yes, I'm allowed to disagree. No, you're not allowed to be an asshole. Not after somebody's explained everything. You're just going to disagree because you feel like it. That's asshole behavior. That's like Netanyahu deciding to go into and invade a country where everybody's telling him that's going to kill a lot of people, it's going to destroy a lot of people, and the asshole decides he's going to do it anyway because he's allowed to do so. That's being an asshole, bro. I just joined in. Oh, okay, that explains that. Give me your scorecard. Did you score the fight? Did you score the fight? Ricky Tan? He's laughing. There you go. Asshole. Trolling. Okay, so I'm done with those guys. Yeah, so as I was saying before, you guys have a good night. Dwayne Ellis says 3 pounds makes a difference in power. Let me put you this way. He was a welterweight. At 143, he's a welterweight, right? And Dev is fighting in a different weight class. He can't make 140, right? So he had to get down to 140. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So Ryan rehydrates up to like 175, 180, right? Devin Haney rehydrates up to 165, right? Obviously, Ryan he's already a guy that knows how to punch to get people to get dropped, right? Now, think about his punching power. How much more punching power he has at 180 pounds, right? Devin Haney, his punching power would increase because he's 165. More mass, more power, more muscle. You know, you're gonna get more punching power, right? So, yes, if he couldn't make the 140-pound limit, the fight was either supposed to be canceled, but they so wanted the fight to happen that they excused that. So, as you said, it's not just 3 pounds, my friend. It's going down 3 pounds that can make a difference in power. Because if Ryan killed himself to make 140, he'd have come out weak. He'd have been weak coming into the fight, for sure. But in addition, he would have rehydrated to the mass that he is, so he wouldn't have been able to carry that mass like how he did in the fight. And even then, he blew up so much that he was fatigued as he was going through the fight. He wasn't the same Ryan Garcia. He didn't have the speed and sharpness and quickness that he normally had. But he had way more power because he had way more mass. You understand? So Devin excused all of that, and therefore we cannot go on Ryan for that because Devin Haney agreed to it. Just like how we can't go in on Tank for Ryan being dehydrated down to, I think, what Ryan came in at 139 or 138 or some shit like that. Killed himself to make weight, right? So that's the important thing about these fights. The real Ricky Tan says, I didn't score the fight. I just enjoyed it. I saw what I saw. Well, if you didn't score the fight, bro, you shouldn't talk about it being close or not being close, okay? Go score the fight first, if you know how to score a fight. And then from there, you can then say if it was close or not. We already scored the fight. I already broke down who won what. I don't feel like repeating myself, but I will. So we all agree Ryan Garcia won the first round, but then Devin Haney won rounds 2 to 6. Ryan Garcia won big the 7th round. Devin Haney came back and answered with the 8th round. Ryan took the 9th, 10th, and 11th. The 10th and 11th, he dropped Haney in both. And Haney took the 12th. So Haney won 7 rounds to 5, but because Haney was dropped in 3 rounds, those rounds were 10-8 rounds except for one because Ryan was fine. So one was a 9-8 round. When you do the math, you get 112, 112. Ryan would have had 112 points at the end of 12 rounds. And Devin Haney would have had 112 points at the end of 12 rounds. Haney would have won more rounds, but it's a draw because Ryan knocked him down 3 times in 3 separate rounds. So it's a draw. Chris Mannix got the same scorecard as Max DeLuca, confirming my thought process that it was a draw. The right man won. Yeah, I don't dispute that. I thought Ryan won not because of the points, but because He knocked down Devin Haney 3 times. He deserved to win. If he didn't win and Devin Haney had won, it would have been a big uproar. If it was a draw, people would still be kind of like boo because Ryan had knocked down Devin Haney 3 times. So the right man winning, I agree with that. Even though points wise, it was very, very close. It was like a draw. I got it as a draw. So who did you have winning? I had Ryan win, even though it was a draw. My scorecard has it as a draw. All right, people, I got to get out of here. I am what you need. You've been watching my channel. If you like what you see, like, comment, whatever. And you can also donate via PayPal. We are out of here. But like I said before, both guys have a bright future ahead of them. I'm glad that Haney tries to make the fights that need to be made, and I don't see him doing any different. He just needs to be smart about people manipulating him mentally. With respect to Ryan Garcia, the earth is his spoil. He's probably in the pound for pound list with this win. Maybe not. And he is the cash cow of boxing now. He is the star of boxing. He is the main attraction. He's going to be the face of boxing going forward. I just don't really appreciate all of his antics, but it is quite entertaining, like Rolly Romero, but it is what it is. That's it for me. I'm what you need. You guys have a good night. God bless. Bye.